After a few relatively dry years, both winters and summers, this year we're getting all that precipitation that we missed. Over the last 48 hours, our region's been hit by heavy rains. Water levels are rising, reservoirs and lakes are full, and the rivers are starting to swell. Last night while at work, people were getting evacuated, roads are being closed, there was pictures surfacing of cars just completely underwater. This is what I found when I got home. I live right next to the Lackawanna River, so I checked it out when I got home from work, and again the next morning to see what the water levels look like. What's going on? So this is a little bit different video. It's about 1:15 in the morning on, well, I guess now it's Tuesday, August 14th, and it has been pouring all day, and I live half a block from the river, and there's been all night where I was at work, there were just flash flood warnings and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I'm going to walk down here. The river is right off on the side here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but just walking down the street, and the river's right over here. So we're going to take a look and see how high that water is. So this is a good sign. I thought they had closed the gate. This right here is a floodgate that they close. I thought that was closed. Looks like it's not, but well, that water's high. So that's a little too dark to really see. This water's up. So, all right. So you can see there's water right here. And you can kind of see how that's rushing by. So I'm going to bring this up. Not really. So I know this is hard to see. It's really hard to make out here, but this this water, this is kind of a decent shot. It shouldn't be anywhere near this high. Like that water level is probably 4 feet high, higher than it should be, and it's just barely under the bridge. You can kind of see, I don't know if you can make that out. Alright, well, got some sleep. I was up till about 3 o'clock last night. Just kind of keeping an eye on weather, watching news, and I just walked down to the park. I'll show you the pictures, the video from the same bridge as that last night. I walked down there before I came down to the park here. So that water's down probably a foot from where it was last night. That's still way higher. So I'm back down at the local park where I come to a lot. This side is in Oliphant. It's called Condella Park, and we're gonna walk down the trail here along the river over to the Blakely Borough Recreation Complex. Very complicated name for park, and I can already see, if I turn this around, I'll show you. I got coffee in my hand. But you can see that water's way high, very brown, and all the way over here there were houses just water flowing at houses, people with their pumps on trying to dry out their basements. So a lot of water. We've been kind of lucky so far today. It hasn't really rained much. Hopefully any additional rain misses us directly, but we are in such a spot here that we catch all the runoff. Wow. Okay, I'm going to show you something here. This water's really high. Just to give you an idea, a few months ago when I dropped my phone in the river, I was standing, my feet were there, and water was 3 feet below me. So this is way up. But there is more rain in the surrounding area. So this is the Lackawanna River. This is Lackawanna Valley that ran. There's the Music Mountains, like Eels Preserve and all that, is up behind the camera. And then the back mountain area, Bald Mountain, Bell Mountain, all of that is behind me. So any videos you've seen of me at like Lackawanna State Park, things like that, are behind me this way, well, in that general area. And all the way up, all these little preserves and stuff like that I've been hitting are up in this area. So any rain that falls anywhere in this area is running down to the Lackawanna. So it doesn't have to rain right here. It can rain up on either one of these mountainsides, or 20-30 miles north of us, I think 50 miles north of us, and that water runs right into Lackawanna, and then we get it here. So I know south of me they're calling for the rivers to crest it, I think 15 feet, which is something like 4 feet above flood stage. People were getting evacuated all last night, and like I said, I was at work, and people were getting phone calls all night at work telling them they got to come home, they're being evacuated. People live south of here. We've been pretty lucky. This trail is on an old railroad bed, and this basically runs right down past where my house is. So down by my house, back in like 2001, 2002, something like that, they where the railroad bed had been taken out to put in houses, they built that back up, put in a couple of retaining walls, built up a flood wall. There's that gate on the bridge, and you can see in here there's a little bit of a floodplain, right? So I don't know if it's really coming out, but this drops off probably 8 feet, runs out the river, and it drops off, well, usually another 3 feet to the river. So this side has got a little bit of a buffer, but the Peckville side over there, they're not quite as lucky. So if this gets any higher, it's going to start flooding into town over there. So let's head down to the bridge and see what that looks like. And this is up a little bit. To give you an idea, this is some video I shot a few weeks ago when the water was at a more normal level. And this is where we're at now. I'm not going to hang out too long on this bridge. I doubt it's coming through on the camera, but you can feel the whole thing shaking a little bit. It's designed to do that. It does it even when the water's low. But yeah, I don't want to take too many chances. This is usually that nice calm spot where I see ducks just chilling out in the water. Not today. they don't have a frame of reference to this, but this water is usually, you can usually walk down this embankment and then walk out to some nice flat rocks. See people down here hanging all the time. This water is almost up on the trail. This trail is generally 4 or 5 feet higher than the water. It is now about 18 inches higher than the water. Right here is usually the spot where I sit. There's usually a little landing area there with a stone wall that I sit on. It doesn't look like it's there right now. We'll see how close I can get. This water is raging. Wow. And zoom out. All right, so here you can kind of see this area right here is usually, again, 2 to 3 feet off the water. And right down when those guys are working is usually where I sit. And I was sitting right there last week when those guys went kayaking by. I'll put the video up from that, add that in here. Good? 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 But this is, like, there's a boat launch down here, like kind of a boat launch that you can't even tell. Wow, that's crazy. So exactly what we don't need is more rain. And it's you can barely see it, but it is starting to rain again. Hopefully it's just light rain. It doesn't come down like it did yesterday. That was bad. That's what's causing a lot of this. Now we're lucky. You know, I said before that we're lucky we got this flood control project and that's here. But south of us, and some areas actually even north of us, streets are flooded, streets are closed, businesses are just getting washed away. They're by the river. I don't remember what town it was in. I think it was New Albany, PA. They have like this old historic library down there. The thing got washed right off its foundation. So yeah, we're pretty lucky right here. I know the people who have water in their basement right now aren't feeling so lucky, but it could be a lot worse. We've had a flood in town right where I live, where the water was like a foot deep. There was fish swimming down the road and everything. Back when they were working on that flood control project, unrelated, no storm, but a reservoir, the levee on a reservoir broke and flooded us. I can hear that rain coming through the trees. So yeah, if you live near water, you always got to be, wary of that. In flood areas. So I know down south here in like Pittston and Old Forge, the water levels are expected to crest, and they said today, and with more rain coming, I don't know if you can hear that in the trees right now, with more rain on its way, this water level will come back up again. So it's gonna be another hairy day, I think, just listening to the weather and keeping an eye out and hoping that the river stays in its banks, for everybody, not just me, for everybody. So not a whole lot to like in this video, I know, but a good idea of how powerful water can be. Some rain for a couple days can put everybody on high alert. So thanks for watching. hit the like button if you liked the video, and maybe if you didn't like the idea of the content, the flooding and all that. But you know, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next. Hopefully I'll stay kind of dry on my way home.